gold and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
Join Mark and Todd for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12-gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in a 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, they'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we'd hoped you to always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
Well, I know I miss more than hit with a face that was launched to sink, and I seldom feel the bright relief. It's been the worst day since yesterday. If there's one thing I have said, is that the dreams I once had now lay in bed. As the four steel and the polished wood. I don't care if they're big or small, they're for sale, hell, I want them all. I like guns, I like guns, I like guns. God made the animals, God made the trees. God made you, well, hell, he even made me. He gave me this voice so I could be a singer. So you tell me why I've got a trigger finger. I like guns, I like the way they look. I like the shiny steel and the polished wood. I don't care if they're big or small, they're for sale, hell, I want them all. I like guns, I like guns, I like guns. I like guns, I like guns, I like guns. Axes flash, props on swing, shining armors, piercing ring. Horses run with a polished shield, fight those bastards till they yield. Midnight man, blood red roan, fight to keep this land your own. Sound the horn and call the cry, how many of them can we make die? Follow orders as you're told, make the yellow blood run cold. Fight until you die or drop. A force like ours is hard to stop. Close your mind to stress and pain. Fight till you're no longer sane. Let not a one damn cur pass by. How many of them can we make die? Guard your women and children well. Send these bastards back to hell. We'll teach them the ways of a war, and they won't come here anymore. I use your shield and you use your head. Fight till everyone is dead. Raise the flag up to the sky. How many of them can we make die? marching drum will win the war and pay the toll. We'll fight as one in heart and soul. Midnight mare and blood red roan. Fight to keep this land your own. Sound the horn and call the cry. How many of them can we make die? Axes flash, rocks will swing.
So keep going straight. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first hour of the afternoon intelligence report. I'm Mark Corky. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, west, northwest, southwest, and central. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube, live stream, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and UltraNet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Texas, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, territories, and the clock. It is 5:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Thursday. It is 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K, 2020. Old Earth calendar, 2020, Dance of Swords. The battle continues and escalates. Yeah, for everybody out there, and of course, it's Thursday. It's the other T day. It's the day when everybody goes to work. The Feds, the Mossad, whenever they want to kill Americans at their workplace, they get you on a Tuesday or a Thursday because they figure you didn't call in sick or try to get a vacation day in the middle of the week, which a lot of people do. And if you're trying to create casualties, government will bomb you. Government-sponsored terrorism, the Israelis, USA, alphabet soup agencies, that kind of thing. They always do it on a T or a T or a TH. Anyway, a couple things I wanted to touch on we got into yesterday. First of all, I have harped on a couple of things for years, and what's fascinating is they're all in your face right now, and it's a we told you so. It's an I told you so, and a lot of other people did too. Number one, get a gas mask. You're seeing chemical ordnance of all kinds being deployed, not just stuff that's canned from the government end. And because of this, it is inevitable you are going to run into far more dangerous agents that are conventional chemical than the stuff that the government is throwing. Not that the government won't throw some too, and you won't have a clue until it's too late. But conventional chemical, including chlorine gas, phosgene, all categories, that can be home built and is technically already being used in Portland. There have been a number of different reports of the Antifa types now throwing gas and throwing other devices which emanate gas. Well, guys, your basic chlorine bleach device isn't hard to build, and guess what's being put out there? So unlike CSCN or capsium oil, we're talking a blistering or burning agent that is highly toxic. Now, this is something that everybody seems to be missing, and I'm going to remind you again, get a gas mask. No, it's not going to stop everything with a standard filter, but it's going to stop most of what it is you're probably going to run into in the improvised battlefield or the government battlefield against you, the free American people, be it the Antifa, government-sponsored turds, or the alphabet soup agency police state turds of whichever police state operation. Both are going to be employing and deploying a lot of nasty stuff. Number two, now, everybody's been seeing all these shots of what happened, part of the fun. Shot, which is a fun. Well, it's not a fun. Anyway, a lot of shots of the people being shot or that were shot in the incident here a couple days ago in Wisconsin. And I'm going to point something out about this. Remember how I told you before about being a little grossly over-engineered and oversupplied in medical? Did you see the arm wound on the Antifa communist? Did you notice how there's nothing he could do? And everybody, I want you to pay attention. Well, this is another "we told you so," because all these people will tell you, "Oh, I don't need that." Well, did you see how that 223 flapped that arm open the way it did? Now, here's something about IFAC and also traditionally compress bandages and all the other technologies that we've been promoting forever, for as long as we've ever been on the air and when we've trained militia and or UPFOR, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody who's done the trade knows full well what you need, and or people who have any time and have been paying attention to what happens on the battlefield or just plain car accidents. How's that sound? So anyway, if you'll notice, the guy is, he took a pop, a real good solid slice or blow, because it may not have been the bullet that did that. I've said this a couple times. The directed muzzle flash combined with the close proximity of the bullet to the flesh will do a fine job of opening you up like a canoe, just like you see that arm in that photograph. I would point something out that's very rare. He's still holding the gun. The pistol that the guy had where he was going to pop the kid in the head on the ground, and of course the bad guys are trying to claim, oh, there's a bunch of tall black people against shut up. They're all white fools, and every one of them was some communist stank from the other side, okay? So I'm not crying about them at all, but I will use them as a lesson for you. You'll notice the guy is kind of sitting there and looking at his arm and, cross-eyed like, ooh, that hurt. Ooh, it hurt. It didn't hurt. Actually, that may not have hurt initially. That's bad enough. And you can tell when it's bad when you don't feel it. Now, the pain's going to catch up with you. I will promise you that. The pain is going to catch up with you. But the best thing that could happen in a worst-case scenario like this is if you have a major trauma casualty like that and there isn't any pain, that's a hell of a good thing for being able to apply whatever it is you want to keep the person from losing the limb or, again, trying to reduce the possibility of going into being a second stage terminal casualty. Compresses. Now, remember what I've said. What you saw there is why my argument is not just to have the IFAC. The IFAC is good, and typically the IFACs are to the left and rear with most people, or front and left, which is better. For a lot of people, depending upon what they were taught or what they've come up with as an SOP for their militia, coming from, or just people trained and organized together, even if it's just family units or whatever. But it's what they've learned from either watching, having been in the military or whatever. Guys, this is why I've said one front, one rear. The IFAC would be there no matter what nowadays, which is a separate, blowout kick completely. And then I still carry in my front left a size medium dressing. It's not a compress, it's a full dressing. I carry a small front, small in the rear hanging off the fanny pack, and then I also carry the equivalent to the IFAC pack, even though we didn't call them that back then, but now we've upgraded, and of course there's all the other goodies back in play you couldn't get for the longest time, like tourniquets. And again, here's this guy, what's he doing? Well, he's got a backpack, he had a pistol, he's playing the fakery of, oh, look, I got my hands up. Well, no, actually, he's a communist. And remember that fakery, well, it's like fighting the Japanese. The guy says, I surrendered. He's got the grenade in hand, taps it on the helmet, and wraps his arm around you with the grenade up next to your head. You both go together. Wow, what a surprise. So the commie was operating the same way, the one that got his arm hit. Well, if you look, ill-prepared, although I say this about everybody, ill-prepared, at least the kid that was doing the shooting did have a med kit with him, which he, of course, stated was for helping out people if something happens there during the evening. And I would point out that, again, his at least was accessible or would normally be accessible in a number of different ways if you were one-handed. But the individual who was shot is busy holding his arm and staring at a gaping wound. Now, what should he be doing? Well, if he actually had the combat dressing and the IFAC pack where it's supposed to be, he himself would be covering and bandaging the wound. Now, well, wait a minute, Mark. Other people should help. Guys, in a firefight, you don't have time to break away from saving your lives. The guy that got shot is lucky because he's still alive. But the longer that you take to, sidestep from addressing the combatants that you are facing, the more likely it is the combatants who are shooting you and who just shot Bob probably want to kill you and will shoot you the rest of the way and finish Bob off if given the opportunity. So guess what? Bo, Bob, Rob, Biff, Billy, Jim, Mark, Fred, your first mission, if you're hit, is to, as quickly as possible, take care of the injury. If it is a pump and bleeder, you better get a tourniquet on that. The next is still throw a compress on whenever possible. Throw a bandage and a dressing on that can lock that wound area down and cover it up. Now, if you can stabilize yourself enough and you haven't gone cross-eyed from loss of blood, then, well, pull your pistol out and contribute to the battlefield, because if you got shot, you're out of the picture technically, but only to a degree. Continue to contribute to the fight. You haven't won yet. All you've done is bought yourself personal time. The unit is still fighting. Everybody understand that? Now, in this case, this character, I just want you to go look at the better pictures with a good close-up of that guy's wound. And I want it to rub in repeatedly. See what a .223 rifle round at close range can do. Or at the very least, a non-lethal rubber bullet, which, by the way, there is no such thing as, it's less lethal. It's not non-lethal. Example, how many people died? Supposedly the kid was firing not ball ammunition. Supposedly, I don't know. I can't really have concept. Who knows? I mean, the only thing I will say is this. That AR-15 was barking. Somebody was getting hit with projectiles. But in the long run, 2 of them are dead. 1 of them is critically injured. Darn good for a guy who was put on the ground and smacked in the head a couple times. He's lucky to be alive. Many other people who did not have a weapon are dead now because Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the Kill All the White People crowd murder people on the street with skateboards and boots and fists and then go, I didn't know that would happen. So, again, the kid did well. Of course, now he's being attacked by the regime and by the communists. That should be expected. Everybody better step up to the plate and not forget that boy. Or I should say, that young man. Now, he did stay focused, and he did stay pretty calm, considering. That's a good thing. Whether or not that's been because he's had enough time and training, or it just paid attention, listened to whoever was instructing him, and whoever it was, and he followed through accordingly. He actually had to take care of a number of different issues. The shooter, the person who had to do the shooting, did to defend himself. But again, lessons learned from the action. He was with a group of people. Who was the sergeant with that group of people that was organized? And how did that kid, well, of course, he may have just decided he was going to be doing Mr. Independent, so he waddled off and did something on his own. That's most likely. But this is where all these people who claim that they're a former military better step up to the plate, better get their act together on the Patriot side. I don't care about the other side. And the other side actually does have organization. How the hell do you think they're getting people 2 states away or 5 states away, transported, deployed, and then are using them / employing them on the field to rape, kill, pillage, and burn? They actually do have their act together. Now, you are going to have to be, doing a better job. And for all those people who claim to be former military, if you were a sergeant, you better start acting like one.
Mark,
this is not a football tailgate picnic. Anybody that shows up like that, in fact, you better be questioning that person right from the get-go. They're not probably going to be all that serious about the fight. What happens in that situation with people that are treating this as the tailgate, beer hall party? Well, they get gassed, and because they have no protection and they have no equipment and they are in no way, shape, or form were really prepared for, I don't know what they're actually there for. They weren't prepared for much of anything. They get gassed, then they whine and scream, and they have to be carried back, or I should say walked back by 2 individuals to guide them as lead dogs. What did that just do? Just took 3 people out of the fight. The one who got, sprayed, wasn't prepared in any way, shape, or form, really was never in the fight. But the other 2 typically are squared away. We'll look at all these videos. Yeah, I'll help you get to the rear because they've got protection, armor, they've got technology on board, and they know how to use it, or at least to have some semblance of an idea. And they're ending up being the shepherd dogs to deal with people who showed up with not even that much ambition with regard to dealing with the problem.
Dad,
let me point that out. Go ahead, Ed.
I have not had a chance to see the video how this started. I have seen the video that the mainstream media keeps playing, which is showing the kid. It looks like he had been knocked down, where he's not in a shooting position. They're like, he was a sniper sitting in the street. That's no natural position to shoot in if you're a shooter. And they show...
You know what, I'm going to tell you who I...
Wait, Dad. They say it's going to be very disturbing, and they show him raise the gun up, and then they freeze frame it, and you don't see anything else, but they play the audio. Now, I've read a couple of the police reports. I know that the crowd that came up on him, and they did come up on. He didn't go to these people. I've heard you talk about that, Dad, but as near as I can tell from the reports, these Antifa were pushed from the park by the police in the direction of the other people that this kid was with. So he might have been walking down the street to get to a vehicle or something, and he didn't see him come up behind him. To me, it looks like he was hit on the back of the head. I have not seen the video. I'm just saying. From
he was. No, he was. He was hit twice.
It looks like he was hit on the back of the head from behind. This crowd of people is literally, if you look, they're running like past him. The reason why is the cops are herding him down that street. That they know that. They put him in that, but they were pushing him that way intentionally. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see how he got hit, but he obviously did not start on the ground. He was getting back up. And then the other individual in the photographs that Oklahoma, one of our people from Oklahoma posted, Warhead in the Discord. Excellent photo essay. He asked me for permission to post it because it is a bit graphic, of the guy who had come up next to him. And yeah, he had the gun in his hand. You can see it. It's kind of blurry in the first image, but he was coming up to pop the guy in the head. It's clear. The kid shot him in the arm, and then it's so bad. Look at what he did to my arm. And he can't let go of the gun. You're right. It's in the shot. It's a perfect little photo essay that was done. It's back in the scroll in the Discord a little ways. You guys need to take a look at it. They were trying to kill the kid. One of the most important things here is, did they actually say that he was in a sniper position in the middle of the road? They did down here in Lubbock, Texas, on Channel 11 News.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you something. There are two groups of people I would shoot in the field. Anybody taking video nowadays, I've told you people this before, the media just plain out needs to be shot. Because, again, this is such twisted spin. But it's typical. See, the only thing I like about this, we have tried to explain to everybody about how the media lies and fabricates, and they lied and fabricated against Patriot Movement. But we stayed focused, and basically the best way to not give them any ammo is not to speak to them. But then they just have to blatantly lie. Well, here there's more than enough data that everybody can see before they try to alter it. But they're word sculpting to just blatantly lie about what's going on. That kid barely got up off his back because he's completely flat on the ground, twice. And, in fact, when he got kicked in the head the first time, when the one guy did the flying kick at him and the other one's coming up with a skateboard next, he's on the ground. They're trying to grab the rifle. Actually, they got him dazed enough they thought they could grab the rifle and pull it from him. So as far as that goes, and then, of course, taking a sniper position, snipers a sniper would never be seen. Let's put it this way, guys. If that had been the case, you would have seen the guy in the middle of the street, wouldn't have even seen him in the shadows. In fact, a lot of people are getting so tired of this that this is what's going to happen, is somebody would be popping them from a block away and nobody would ever have a clue. That's a sniper. What you had was a close quarter action between, combatants, with one person targeted by a multiple number. And yes, I agree with a lot of people said he showed restraint, and then finally when he shot, it's because anybody and everybody who's watched the other thousands of videos of the communists kicking people to death or into the hospital, beating their brains out, he did the right thing. Everybody agrees with it. The only people that don't are the Jewish editors who are stirring the pot, and those Jewish editors need to be dragged out, their ass put against the wall, and shot. Because there's only a small clique and word sculpting this garbage, and it's those yarmulke-wearing oi boys that we put up with for 40-plus years and more, and these dirty turd birds have garbage, created this garbage, absolute, just excrement. And it's one little clique. Because people go, well, it's not the reporters. The reporters like to collect their paycheck, so their job is to lie to you. Don't you want to get your story up? We're going to get the truth out. They aren't going to get anything else out other than whatever. If they figure they can't even use a word that's said, then they will show a still picture and give you a narrative, even though you already spoke for 2 hours in front of the camera. Because whatever you said was too good, and they can't let anybody hear it. The same is true with regard to this kind of drivel and propaganda. But you know what? Pay attention. Here's what you do. When you watch a network and it does that, you go to the computer, pull up that company, WJPL, WKLT, KTLW, find out who the editor is and see which one of the Jewish factions he's with or she's with. Because that's the bottom line. You'll find out, and it's always the same little tribe lying in the same way, which is disgusting in and of itself. But again, I'm not. Well, I expected. It's not a surprise to me. So here's how it works. One way or another, they're going to just keep pushing until we're going to be shooting somebody. But when we are, guys, we have our plan, and it ain't to be messing with the organic sandbags. There ain't that many of those editors out there, are there? You guys will all be hunting the same game, and there'll be too many of us hunting too little, and, well, it won't be long before you're out of game. Just that's how it's going to work. This is not going to slow down. In fact, the blatant lies, when you look at it, what they're doing step by step by step, the disingenuous, blatant lies are so massive. It's just simply there's no way you can pass them by. There's no way you can give them any kind of. There's no excuse. They have none. They have none, other than the fact they're your enemy. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Mark. I'm afraid I have to agree. I have to disagree with you. I don't believe they should be shot. Bullets are not cheap, but a dirty old rope can be reused for multiple vermin executions. They don't deserve a new rope, but a dirty old one that's still good would be plenty good enough. Vermin. I'm out.
Well, hold on here a second. All right, there we go. Now we still got a little bit of background noise. We're doing this a little differently because we're mobile right now. Well, one of the things that I see as the biggest problem is, again, a lot of people are too busy trying to placate. I watched this one. Oh, here it comes. Some idiot stick writing an article with that angle. Here it comes. They're going to be mean to us now because he had to shoot. Well, okay, someone's going to be shooting somebody. That's not maybe, kind of, or sort of. That's not inevitable. That's inevitable. So it's like, find your oysters, you little curs out there, though, especially the piss willies. When you read a lot of these articles, this is like the Got Live or Cheaper Than Dirt garbage back when all of a sudden they were coming after the guns. And we had a handful of these turds who immediately start mouthing this, I'm pissing my pants, and we got to lick the butt, right, the big bunghole of the enemy right now. And it's like, really? Nah, here's the one thing I want everybody to do. You pay attention to articles like that, you find out who wrote them, and you find out who that person is. You don't have anything to do with that person. You get these piss willies doing the, oh no, they're going to do it. It's going to be horrible. We're going to die. Like Beaker from Bunsen P. Honeydew. You're with Bunsen P. Honeydew and the Muppets. That's what that fool is like. But I'm going to tell you something. These jackasses, those types of jackasses that do that kind of reporting, and not even reporting, it's piss willying. I've wasted so much of our time and undermined wherever they can because it's as if they work for the enemy. And we need to cull them from everybody's ranks. cough, find your oysters, get your act together. This is the fight. You know, that diversion you're trying to ignore is the attack you've been expecting. That's where we are. Now, yeah, the skank Jewish mobsters are trying to get a race war going. And guess what? I don't look at it as a race war. I look at it as it's going to be a war, because a lot of the people that they're throwing up as meat puppets aren't black. It's a Soviet versus free person. Well, let's put it this way: police state and Soviet, because there is no difference between the cops and the communists that are out there on the street. And that's the first mistake everybody's making. That's why the Jewish mob is playing. The Jewish mob runs Trump. The Jewish mob runs the Democrats. The Democrats, of course, are making all of this disaster. You're supposed to run to the cops, who, by the way, were revenuing you every chance they can, steal every dollar they can from you, have you do the same thing. Hell, they're out there with a gun on you for not wearing a dog collar or a muzzle here in the last couple of months. Remember? That's those cops. We need to support Blue Lives Matter. Why? Now remember, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Create the problem, demonstrate the problem, and come up with a solution people otherwise wouldn't expect. And that's why, you're going to support the cops. Why? If the cops are going to turn around and break your legs, which is what they've been doing, and for all of you in the Patriot movement, you should know better, then again, sit back, have a sip of that coffee, look around and ask yourself, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? And what's the mission? What's the agenda? What's the program? It's pretty obvious. And I'm not picking either of the paths they're trying to push, because I know better. You're standing there with the cops, and it'll be no different from making that deal you think with the communists. You're going to have that sharp pain between your shoulder blades when all of a sudden they're given the orders by the same lodge buddies with the yarmulkes on, who are going to tell you, now it's time to screw the rubes. We got the rubes to work for us. Oi! That's exactly what's coming. So for everybody out there, again, sit back, take a little sip of that coffee, and look around. Now, does that mean that we're going to have to, we just don't need to fight the communists? Well, hey, the communists, let's put it this way. They're demonstrating that they are very much, Chucky Manson types. Look, I got my hands in the air and a pistol. Yeah, and as soon as you get close enough, he's got his hands up. You're not supposed to do anything. Then he pulls the handgun out, and he's ready to blow the kid's brains out. Anybody see the sequence of videos and images with that? The character got his arm blown out, who I'm using as a model for why you need medical support, and not just a medic. Guys, you can't count on Doc to be able to come to you under fire. I'm going to keep going back to that. You are supposed to take care of yourself first. If I can, and I'm right there, and we had enough time, I might turn, especially if it was really bad. I'm really good with throwing a sling on one of you. In other words, a tourniquet. Trust me. But it's going to be just fast enough that I can cinch it down hard, and you're going to have to do the window dressing work. I'll get it on, get it where it belongs. You got a traumatic amputation. The faster we do that, the less body fluid you lose, and less likely you're going to leave me. But beyond that, sorry, you're going to have to take care of the rest. Again, you're the best solution in a firefight if you get wounded. Get out of the line of fire. Remember, what's the rule? Take cover, return fire. Not return fire and take cover. Take cover, return fire. Now, you got hit while you were trying to take that cover. Guess what? You're under cover. Now you can square yourself away as quickly as possible if it really does require maintenance. And then you can get on with return fire or support fire for your other people who are more physically capable and not physically challenged because of injuries. Remember that, guys. But that character, all these characters just playing the same game. It's like the skateboards. Isn't it amazing how all these characters are carrying skateboards? Why? Because they've been coached. You're not carrying a weapon, except that they're sharpening the sides of those Kevlar or steel and fiberglass or steel, fiberglass, and wood skateboard edges. And if you'll notice, they've all been coached. I want you to go through all the images that you have of Antifa attacking people, because there's thousands and thousands and tens of thousands. How is it they all are attacking the same way? They have all been coached and classed on how to use the skateboard as a chopping weapon. And that is why all of those images, the attack posture is the same. Look at the stills, the classic stills of that kid in Wisconsin when he's being hit with a skateboard. That's a nice freeze frame shot that everybody can see. Now, go back through all of the other images out there and go, oh, wow. Because it's the same
swing
routine.
it sideways like a blade to scalp you.
Yeah, they're not using it like okay, think about this. This is something that I've talked about for years. There are two ways that you can use a fighting knife. You can stab somebody with it. Well, it's more than two ways, really. But you can stab or cut somebody with it. That's one. Guys, you can also use it as a passive weapon if you want to count coups, so to speak, or if you just want to knock somebody out, because that big, heavy, flat blade, you use it like a sap. Now, these people aren't using their skateboards like a sap. They're using them as a cutting edge, a cleaving edge.
A scalping edge.
Break bone. Repeat. Go ahead, caller.
Scalping edge. They're swinging it on edge so that they scalp you.
And so for everybody out there, pay attention. This is a standard. It has been repeated over and over again. They are being coached. That means classrooms. Your enemy has got a lot more tutorial and instruction getting into the field and on the street than the mob patriot operations that don't seem to be able to get their act together once they're deployed. And we have a better system. That's what really pisses me off. It's like this kid. Of course, now here's the problem. This kid, first of all, should not have separated from the team. But it's the job of the sergeant not to be doing photo ops and getting in front of the camera, like I saw a couple of them. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get in front of the camera. I got a cool outfit. Hey, look, we're just here because I'm really unofficial official. It's like, okay, get away from the camera. And trust me, they'll take a picture of you no matter what. You don't have to be blabbing in front of them. Instead, if you're the one in charge, your job isn't to be a photo op. Your job is to make sure that your unit is cohesive, your unit is functional, your people are taken care of. You wanted to be the supervisor. You want to be the big cheese. Oh, be the boss. If you're the boss, then there's a word attached to your job. It's called WORK. It's not cluster screw. And that means management. And that means, no, it's no fun at all. In fact, the person in charge, everybody wants the glamour thing. The person in charge works his ass off if he's actually doing his job. I've told you this a million times. When you're in management, you have to deal with all those kids' problems, and you still have to deal with what you have to do, what your mission is. You get everybody else's and yours. Not, whatever, piss on them. I don't know him. Some asset bastard, I don't care. He's not important. I am. That's not how it works. You're the last person. You know what? They kind of emphasize that. If you watch We Were Soldiers, that's how we were trained. That's how I was trained. You don't leave unless you make sure. If you're in charge, you have to account for everybody. And you're the last one to leave. You're the first one to show up, or pretty much first one, because you're using the magic pointy finger. But when you leave, you're responsible for that command. While you're deployed, you have your fingers. If you're an officer, or if you are an NCO, you have assistants. It's your job to make sure that all of them understand the mission. Your assistant's job is to be an extension of you. And the first purpose is manpower / force conservation. Force conservation means making sure your people are secure, taken care of, properly trained, and no one understand whatever SOPs have been established so that you can function effectively as a team, deploy, and under optimal circumstances return intact from the action or proceed from the first action, if you're really successful, on into the next one without any hesitation. Again, proper planning prevents poor performance. So here again, home will be in charge. Now, another thing, I got to say this over and over again. do not wear black. I like black. I got really cool black stuff. I got all kinds of black things. But if I was in a tactical deployment like we're seeing, ain't no way in hell I'm going to wear black. I might tell everybody to bring a black hoodie with them and to roll it up and put it inside a stuff sack and hook it to the back of your gear. What? Yeah, I might need camouflage. I might need to look like, in other words, the bad guys can exfiltrate. You fire a bunch of people up. You step back into the shadows. You take that black hoodie, put it on top of everything. You make sure that whatever headgear you were wearing, you take off and you stuff into your pack. You bring the other piece of headgear out that's totally different. And then you act like you're as confused and as drama queen as the rest of the drama queens that make up the communist/effeminates on the other side. Oh my God! Oh, man! Have you listened to some of these people? Seriously. That's what you want. You see, I'm not saying don't get rid of your black gear. I'm not, don't get rid of your black gear. I am saying that, don't. But I'm telling you, there's a place and time, but not when you're deploying. Friend, foe, friend, foe, friend, foe. All that black crap does that you're wearing is create confusion both for your allies and possible supporters. Because when they see black, they assume it's the enemy. And if they see lots and lots of black, and they don't see much of anything different from all those lots and lots of black outfits, in the minds of many of the shallow brains, well, the enemy's totally overwhelming, and they were everywhere, and they said the Patriots were there, but they did nothing. Well, guess what? They did something, but you have to kind of sort them out. See all the reasons here for not wearing black. And if you want to be a cop wannabe, you might as well say you want to be an Antifa wannabe. You know what the difference between a black uniform cop and a black uniform Antifa is? Which day their paycheck comes in from the same people. Everybody understand that? I think one gets bi-weekly, the other one gets a salary. Well, they actually get paid by job. Okay. Still comes, the checks come from the same Soros crowd and the same globalists and the same internationalists that support the UN skanks and all the rest of the Detroit. And those cops will be right there for that, just like they have been all along for the last 30 years and more. You know, don't be fooled by, again, the shysters operation here. I should say the Oi Boys operation here. Now, another thing real quick. Again, with friend foe, we've talked about this. Guys, headgear. You can come up with headgear, one model of headgear. I recommend, if you can, go out and buy something, buy a big bucket or box of it. It's got to be cheap. One of the things you can do, there's a lot of different hats. If you go into, go out and look on a search. Do a search for camouflage hats, cheap camouflage hats. You can find patrol can caps that are in these really inane camouflage patterns you can't just walk out and buy. They're under $2. If you're willing to buy 50 or 100 of them, they're under $2 a piece. Are they fancy? No, they're actually well enough made. They're pretty good for the price. Well, why do I want them? Well, it's because I'm going to have everybody carrying those in their front left popcorn pocket on their blouse. And when I give out a 3-whistle tweet, when I use the whistle and give tweet, 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 everybody stops. Whatever headgear you got comes off. Everybody pulls that hat out of their left pocket. And anybody wearing that hat is friendly. And anybody not wearing that hat would be in question. Does everybody see how that works? Friend, foe, friend, foe. Especially in a battle axe and broadsword situation, like all of these field activities you see in the streets. Because again, how do I know who to hit? Some numbnut, at least you wear a helmet, but he's wearing a black, tactical helmet because black is cool. Yeah, but the Antifa and their cop buddies, they wear black. The commies in government wear black. The commies on the street working for the other part of government wear black. So if I want to get a swing in, I got to hesitate a little more before I can get a good pat on somebody's head because I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should be clubbing your hind end. See how that works? Whereas on the other hand, if we have proper, friend-foe identifiers in place, I don't have to hesitate. The battle is much shorter. I'm not trying to see how long I could hang around out in the street. Example, you see how short that firefight was that kid had? There was lots of excitement that built up to it. It was more time in motion, movement, and noise and drama queen garbage than there was in the actual engagement and the time it took to put down two targets effectively, and to actually step back the rest, with a few other odd rounds fired here and there. Moments. Otherwise, lots of tension, lots of noise, lots of yo homie barking, lots of monkey poking. But when push came to shove, only a matter of moments. And this is why, like I said, when you had better be prepared for what's coming, because this thing will escalate and balloon out just as quickly as that exchange you saw on the street. All it's going to take is somebody saying, "I'm too old for this. I'm not going with the government. I'm not going to be going with them saying lock me up. I'm too old. It'd be a death sentence. Might as well kill the bastards." And you know what? They'd be right. Oh, how can you say that? It's real simple. They're right. Do the math. We got to go reason. We're going to be reasonable. These people are more Fruit Loop than they were 20 years ago. And even more Fruit Loop than they were 30. They were pretty stinking crazy 30 years ago in the 90s, people. Not that they were any better 10, 20 years ago. But starting in the 90s, they showed their red and yellow colors hardcore. The comp shops, the ATF, the FBI, they showed their globalist agenda, and they were going to plant the UN flag in America. We did stop them. Oh, they've oozed forward, but we did stop them. So now we're in the next cycle of this. Now, don't get fooled by the garbage about going along with the cops. The cops are not American. The cops are with the Lodge. The Lodge is globalist. And the idea is one way or another, it gets you stuck into a situation where either decision is wrong. It's bad. That's where they've tried to put us. There are other options, most of which is not my circus, and neither of those are my monkeys. Okay? We're almost to the top. By the way, I want to say thank you to all of our friends that have been donating and also have, sent correspondence. We're doing a couple of videos here shortly. Probably I'll have it done by Saturday, and they'll be heading back out west along with a couple of other letters. So I want to say thank you for the support by our friends who are organizing. In fact, as we're seeing many of the counties here in Michigan, actually, one of the things I've been working on, I'm trying to find the best deal for about 2,000 uniforms. That will be 4 uniforms per person. Once I get the package deal established, we can find the cheapest, slowest boat from the point of origin, cheapest shipping. Then I've got to pass that notation on, hand it over to them, and they're going to be outfitting another battalion of infantry. The counties are in motion, and the townships are in motion here in Michigan and Northern Ohio. Guys, you need to be doing the same thing. Organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Anyway, God bless our republic. Yes, the New World Order. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire is on the run. We're in the march. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Second hour coming up. We started a little late because we have been in traveling mode. And we will be for a while still. So y'all take a breath, go to the bathroom, grab a cup of coffee. It is Thursday on Liberty Tree Radio.
Shine on the old Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong
all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
Join Mark and Don for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12 gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, they'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we'd hoped you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper, so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm, so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm, and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear, be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
And that was Thalen Polk's poem, Visitor from the Past. The author, Thalen Polk. Right here from Holland, Michigan, originally. A Vietnam veteran, wrote a whole book of poetry. And Visitor from the Past was part of that collection. And originally done back at the end of Vietnam. This particular piece, the recording you hear, was done by an Arizona Highway Patrolman, 27 years of age, back in 1993, and he did it specifically to send to the intelligence report. And having done it, and having recorded it, and sent it to us, that point forward, every hour that the intelligence report has been up, we have made a point of playing every hour Visitor from the Past. Visitor from the Past by Thalen Polk. Okay, just as a reminder. So for everybody out there, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second hour of the Afternoon Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Perky. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, west, southwest, northeast, and south. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube live streams, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and UltraNet, Hallmark and Golden Spike Technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, the territories, and the clock. Somewhere it is midnight, somewhere it's midday, but right now it is 6:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the bottom of the state of Michigan. It's Thursday, and it has been a beautiful, Riley. Looks like we should have been getting thunderstorms. We should have had gushes of rain, and it's done this 3 days where we've had almost the equivalent of cumulonimbus in some cases, just right heading towards the maximum altitude and all directions, all over the state. We just drove the length of the state, and the conditions were exactly the same. And only got maybe squall rain twice out of the deal. And this has been consistent. So, of course, it is kind of classic for August. We always have dry August. We haven't had that dry in August. It's been a little less wet, but not much. However, last couple of days, if you were going, man, look at the weather, I'm not going to do anything, you'd have failed. So remember, guys, correct that. Anyway, it's 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K, 2020 Old Earth calendar, 2020 year of conflict, year of the Dance of Swords. And again, beautiful weather at the bottom of Michigan. The peaches, the plums, cherries, everything is going to be in max production, looking really strong right now. And the first part of the season's apples, oh my goodness, just again, phenomenal. So grab what you can. We're filling every mason jar up we've got. Nancy did gallons and gallons, and I'm not exaggerating, gallons of all of the different raspberries and blackberries, and also we did massive quantities of elderberry, and including an elderberry medicinal syrup. Oh my goodness. Dudes, we are going to be very wealthy for the season when the time comes. Can't complain about that at all. Anyway, a couple other things here real quick. I will remind everybody, as far as I know, Apparently they got a good block of stuff in over at aimsurplus.com, and what they did pick up, what they did receive is, again, some really desirable product. Number one, they still have a little bit of that 7mm Remington ammo that's PPU over at AIM Surplus. Pass the word on. I want our people to get that. That's a supremacy, a battlefield superiority cartridge. 7mm Remington mag is nothing to sneeze at, and in fact, it is a very desirable round to have in the unit. Well, if you've got a 7mm, you got to both train, or if you're going to teach new shooters, the PPU ammo is only $16.95 a box, as opposed to $44 a box, $45 a box, $55 a box. Now, needless to say, those are other manufactured, systems, but PPU does good work. This is good ammunition, and I highly recommend you clean the place out. If you have a 7mm Remington, you should be stacking some cans right now, because they've not jacked the price. This is as reasonable as it was a year ago. They really haven't changed. I don't think it's changed in any way, shape, or form, which is good. Now, it's typical commercial price for a year ago. And in reality, people go, oh, 16. Well, I'm used to buying federal ammo for $7 a box. How do you like that? But I know better. It's not going to happen. So for $15, $16, and $17 a box for PPU, take advantage of it. And again, I'm harping for a reason. Now, while we were on break, I just had a quick pop-up here from one of our friends, again, a new listener, about gas masks. MaineMilitary.com, MaineMilitary.com, MAINE, the state, MaineMilitary.com. They're on our page. There's a link there. They're one of the many sources that are out there. Another one is nothing to do with surplus, but it has to do with, again, it's going to be more expensive, but Granger. Granger has PPE, personal protection equipment, on the shelf, good quantity. What they have, you can call and find out what their stocks are. You can pick up what you need there. You're going to pay full price. You're going to pay regular price for it. But you know what? Some people aren't happy if they don't think they're spending more and getting more. So whatever your solution is, there's one where Granger is an established name. They have a Bible-sized catalog if you ever go to check it out. And it definitely is worth, plugging into and taking advantage of. So go to Granger.com. And again, they don't advertise with us. They're no friend or foe. They're just, it's just a business. Another is gunpartscorp.com. Forgive me, gunpartscorp.com. Now, when you get there, go to their military surplus section and then go to gas masks. They still have the M1 Yugoslavian 60mm filter gas mask, brand new, old inventory, for $15 a mask. That is the cheapest price in the country for what is literally a brand new product. So take the time, go over to www.gunpartscorp.com, and when you get there, go to the military surplus section. When you get there, then go to the chemical protection and gas mask. You'll see there's a couple different subjects. You might want to go through all of the items there anyway. But there are 3 or 4 masks. They have not changed the price. The price is still consistent and the same, which means that you are getting a very reasonable price for a very useful product. And as I said last hour at the very beginning, get a gas mask, get a gas mask, get a gas mask. If you listen to the reports from Portland, did you go down the shopping list of what they were hit with? Because the people who were there that were reporting said, we were hit with gas, we were hit with stones, we were hit with feces, they had bags of piss, they used every kind of weapon you can imagine, and they were showing, some of the people retreating, like I told you, the tailgate crowd, the tailgate barbecue crowd, the sports bar types, who had no protection. Some of them were even painted up like this is you're going to a sporting event. And nothing could be further from the truth with regard to what you're dealing with here. You could have regalia and imagery, but that's over top of, let's say you decide to carry shields, which probably would be a real good idea since plywood is cheap. And to be quite honest, I've got so many of those little stupid saucers that we play with during the winter. I can make a whole series of shields up in a matter of minutes with a little bit of strapping, and it would deflect most of what you're going to deal with. Come on, people, be creative. There's all kinds of junk out there that can be used that would work well, and especially in stuff that, again, is throwaway. You especially want to build it so that if you had to use it but then abandon it, you're not going to cry. That's how you want to think about whatever your bulk technology is. Another thing, everybody wearing a helmet, just please don't wear black. And by the way, to settle worrying about black, get a cloth helmet cover. Let's say your helmet is black. Get or make a cloth helmet cover and cover up the black outfits, the black equipment. Make sure that it is secured. It's that simple. That way it can't be seen. It's not going to create confusion. Now, there's another thing about that, too. It's not just confusion. Let me point something else out. What I said earlier in the other, or I should say later in the other hour, oh, my God, Antifa, there was somebody, look, everybody's wearing black. Half those people on the other half of that line are our people. No, it's Antifa, they're everywhere. We're doomed. You got to remember that if you're going to get out there and do something, you want to motivate more of your own people or people who are of like mind. And I'm sorry, as I've said many times, there's stuff that we've done for imagery that we wouldn't do in real life, but it's because it's part of what is known as heraldry. It's done for the sake of, again, a term called esprit de corps, pride in performance, pride in your unit, blah, blah, blah. But it also creates the psychological line of people being motivated by number, by organization, by structure. Okay, so remember, guys, method to madness here. Think ahead. Another thing, there's some really great equipment out there, which, by the way, is still relatively cheap, that offers you good protection, looks good, and it's minimal cost. Minimal cost. In fact, example, over at Gun Parts Corp, there is a Swedish helmet available right now. They're new old inventory. Basically, they show some scuff marks, some storage. They are an excellent helmet. I'll wear it in a heartbeat. In fact, they're $12 a piece. They're all metal. Hey, guess what? You know what else they have over there at Gun Parts? They have those full face shields, riot control face shields. And those are the kind that clamp and spring onto a regular helmet. So you actually could buy for a few dollars one of the shields, $12 buy one of the helmets, and you're a lot better equipped than the average bear out there. That's if you're looking to go out into the field. But here's the thing. You want to get everybody you can to do this. The other option is if you've got any way of putting some money together, you buy a pile of them yourself, number them for your own purposes, and you can even issue them out when you go to an event, and then you recover them if the cowards don't run. And remember, some will. Some will disappear. Don't ever get frustrated by that. I'm going to remind you again, the biggest problem you're going to have are the sports bar and the pickup truck, party tailgate crew who think somehow this is like 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago was bad too, but in other words, they're not really wrapping their brain around the wicked that's in front of them. And so constantly these characters are having their, let's just say, life's epiphany while they're getting their head caved in, or they're getting their face sprayed down with bleach or chemical agents, whatever. See how that works? Now, and by the way, there was a comment, we were discussing that, with regard to chemical agent. Every time we have something, a little jog here in memory. There are differences in the capsium oil sprays. Michigan is the only state that can only have 2.5% capsium oil. The rest of the nation, you guys could carry up to 5%. We have communists in this state, and they do not want us to be protected, to be able to protect ourselves in any way. However, that doesn't mean you can't buy it. You just can't basically leave the house with it, okay? But there is what is called Bear Guard. Now, the Bear Guard idea is that 5% capsium oil and greater is supposed to make the bear think twice about eating you. We seem to have discovered that for the most part, even at that level, the bear basically looks at that as a condiment. In other words, if you spray the bear with the pepper spray, most of the time he figures it's just, missing salt and you're the main course. Yum, yum, yum. However, it does work really well on people. And I would remind you that some of the stuff that you're seeing out there deployed by the police is not 2.5 or 1.5 or 5%, but is 21 to 24% capsium oil. It is a high concentration. There are many different names. One of them is Mr. Clean. It is wicked. It is designed not only to affect your mucous membrane, it is designed to burn your skin, any place where you have a pore, everywhere, on your scalp and your hair. It's going to burn on your arms. It's going to burn on your face. It's going to really mess up your sinuses, and it most assuredly is going to screw with any and all of your surface areas like the eyes, lips, etc. That's what you're seeing deployed to a degree when you see those real heavy fire extinguisher-sized sprayers that are being used by the cops. Now, another thing, water, and more water. Now, not just a Camelback. One of the things about most everybody that's buying into the new systems is that those new systems fail for the types of experiences that we are having on the ground in the American conflict on the streets. The Camelback's a great idea. Everybody should carry one if you want to. That's just more water. But you all need to be carrying water bottles, canteens. Why? Well, because as you saw with most of the chemical agent attacks in Portland and in Seattle, with the people who were facing off against Antifa and their fellow employees, the cops, the gas, of course, gets, they get hit in the face with pepper spray, pepper balls, whatever, and all of a sudden they didn't bring any water. So somebody else has to use their water. But then that person gets sprayed. Well, that person doesn't have water now. Everybody carries canteens. Everybody. In fact, I would go so far once again. I know you got to play nursemaid when you're dealing with lots of people coming together because a percentage are children, even on our side. You buy a couple of, like a pallet or at least many cases of the cheap water, bottles as you can. They're throwaway, the smaller ones. And everybody carries one into the field. Everybody. If you're going to go out and protest, in fact, you're going to ask them, did you bring water? Oh, yeah, but I didn't. Where is it? Oh, it's buried in my backpack here. Get it out. Bury it in your backpack while you're hacking and groping for the sky because you can't breathe and your eyes are burning out of your eye sockets and you're blubbering and whining about how much it hurts. You're probably not going to very effectively dig into the bottom of your backpack for that water. On the other hand, carrying it in your pocket, or better still, a water rig, a carrier, a combat harness of some kind, with the water easily accessible, would probably work for you pretty well. And even though you might be a little mindless, you'd probably be coherent enough to take the cap off, irrigate the area where the eyes are, and maybe your mouth and nose and your face, and you would alleviate some of the pain that would be going on. On the other hand, taking another 5 minutes thrashing around on the ground while you're digging for the what was in the backpack. First, you got to get the backpack off. Then you got to get into the backpack, and you can't see the clips. Then you can feel them, but you're fumbling, and it's hurting more. And then you're fumbling through all the junk you put in the backpack. See, this is also true of the guy that got shot in the arm. He might have even had an IFAK or something, but what was it? It was in the backpack. He was carrying a backpack. Backpack was quite nice, I'm sure. It looked like it was very high quality or well made. It was useless. Served no purpose whatsoever. Failed him completely. See how that works? Prior, proper planning prevents piss poor performance. It's that simple. So again, make sure that the water is accessible, medical is accessible. Also, stay out of the line of fire if at all possible. Shields are really great for deflecting things. The other side is using umbrellas. What do you think they're using umbrellas for? I guarantee if you were to check, they've also sharpened up the spikes on those umbrellas. You think you're just carrying those umbrellas for the fun of it? Well, they're a shield for the spray. They're disposable, and you can stab somebody with them. Not so much hit, but you can stab. Oh, yeah, well, look, we're being peaceful. Yeah, we know better. We understand all the tricks of the trade. Okay,
well,
now, with regard to
if you got a 2-liter...
anything is better than nothing. Okay, that's simple. I think I hear a voice. Who do we have?
It's just Fluffy. It just occurred to me. If you got a 2-liter bottle full of water, you can smack somebody with it real good.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear me? Hello?
1, 2, 3. I think we lost Mark. His mobile connection has been a little iffy this hour. Let's see if we can get him back. It looks like he didn't drop off the line. He might have just got a bad signal. In fact, actually, maybe he did, because I'm seeing him on the call-in line twice now, which is interesting.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you copy? Over.
Hey, did you call back in, Dad, or?
We had a hiccup there for some reason. Don't know what it was. Got
interesting hiccup, because now the number that you're on, depending on where you are, you might be bouncing off of a different cell phone tower, because now I've got 2 of you in the conference room.
And I didn't redial.
Yeah, no, it could have just been that one's picking you up better than the other now as we get closer to, you know.
So one's fading in the distance, and the other one is lighting the candle in the darkness.
Yeah, but that was Fletcher was talking about using a 2-liter bottle full
there we
of
go.
water as
Okay,
a
very good.
weapon.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Bottom of the hour music break, Ed, if you could. We haven't done Christenberg's Revolution in a while. And all 3 of them, I know it's long, and it'll give me a little bit of a moment's break here anyway, but if you could, Christenberg, it's Revolution, Light a Fire, Never Forget. There are 3 songs. They're back-to-back. They should be played together, and it's a storyboard is what it is, guys.
That one's going to be a little hard for me to get to right now, Dad. Let me put something else in. I know what I'll just take care of that real quick.
Well, I'll tell you what. Instead, if you got something simpler, let's do this. Something sharp and clean and easy to hear. Let's see. Battle Cry of Freedom, Confederate version. How's that sound? That's easy. And we should be able to pull that up in theory. So, for everybody out there, again, a reminder, libertytreeradio.4mg.com. We have a donate key on there. If you get a chance, take the time, plug in, go over to the Liberty Tree Radio page, libertytreeradio.4mg.com, and then go to the donate key. You can donate any amount. This will help to maintain the system. We, of course, once a year have our yearly billing. And we do that towards the end of the year. We're not there yet, but we do have other bills that are popping up, and also upgrades or technology replacement that has to take place. I just acquired a whole bunch of stuff I'm still going through, including special spyware, hardware, all kinds of fun things. The equipment that's quite useful. It didn't cost us anything other than time. You just have to sort it and put it into kits. So, again, guys, constantly be, keeping your eyes peeled for stuff that is being disposed of, got rid of. And, uh-oh. There we go. I might.
our noble women also have aided them at home. Shout, shout, the cry of freedom. Our Dixie forever, she's never at a loss. Down with the eagle and up with the cross, and we'll rally round the bonny flag, we'll rally once again. Shout, shout, the cry of freedom. Our Dixie forever, she's never at a loss. Down with the eagle and up with the cross, and we'll rally round the bonny flag, we'll rally once again. Shout, shout, the cry of freedom. We'll shout, shout, the cry of freedom.
Actually, the Dixie side of the fence there. Virginia Dragoons, the guys have been mechanized for quite some time, and I just identified a few of the things that they needed to track down. We were looking for armored crewman helmets the other day. They ain't nothing cheap, and in fact, the best prices are right back there at the Carolinas, guys. So there are some deals with militaryuniforms.com. I'm talking to them. I haven't got an email back from them yet. But the guys need to purchase around 60 of the combat vehicle crewman's helmets. We're looking for the Vietnam to end of the Cold War era. We don't really want the newest ones. And we can use the older ones that predate that 50s to 60s Cold War. But and they all work. They are serviceable. But they're looking for a particular model because we do have a whole bunch of the bunker caps for the standard padded helmet. And it's the caps you used to catch piled like cordwood for a while there for 10 cents a piece. Some are Kevlar / ballistic, some are not. It depends on what year they were made and what theater they were being issued to. Some of the Euros got Kevlar, some of the units did not. So just a heads up. Anyway, it has been a very busy week. Here we are into Thursday already. We're pointing towards next weekend. We always are. I mean, obviously, everybody's looking for the weekend. Right, okay. Well, meanwhile, since it's not here yet, we still got plenty of work to do. With regard to tactical equipment and materiel, I've had a lot of questions about certain rigs. I will emphasize in general again, guys, just because it looks cool doesn't mean it's going to be worth working for you or worthwhile for you. If you are using a 12-gauge shotgun, a 30-round magazine pocket is not going to work to hold shells. I mean, you can hold them, but at a certain point, you got your hand stuck down in an area that's not quite big enough for your hand, especially when your little paw grabs a bunch of shells. And I don't want to hear about you being found shot dead with your hand stuck in a magazine pouch trying to fish out something you could have done better with another piece of equipment. Okay? So, as a heads up, remember, take the time and you do a little research, figure out what gear is available, especially on the cheap, that will work with the weapon system that you have committed to. On some cases, your equipment might be a little more specialized with regard to the weapon, and so your technology has to be a little more modern because, well, example, the 12-gauge magazine-fed shotguns, there are only certain pouches that will handle those larger magazines, the larger capacity mags. If you have the drums, then you're going to have to find something that fits. And that means doing a little research. Now, they do offer some light-duty nylon stuff for most of the drums, but you need something that's actually going to pad it. There are a number of pouches out there, and in the Molly gear, there's a whole plethora of stuff that you can draw from to use. But you're going to have to, again, maybe look to see what people have referenced, what they have found to be successful as a useful tool. And then you can purchase what makes sense for the system that you are carrying. That's more critical than anything. Pretty is irrelevant. It's functional. Is it functional? Does it work with you? Can you reach everything? Are you able to acquire what it is that's supposed to be stowed? Is it easily accessible once you reach it? Can you acquire it? Can you withdraw it from the magazine pouch or from the pocket? That's critical to time and return reload. Okay, you got to be able to turn around fast. So not everything that looks pretty is necessarily for you. I mean, if you want to buy one, you can anyway. But hey, maybe you buy the gun that it matches. There's an idea. Yeah, you had to buy the web gear, and then you realized, I need a rifle that matches that. You're right, you do. This is America. You could do that. Okay? You're not limited as far as weapons go. I think that's another problem. It's like, well, I've got one rifle. Okay, then buy another one. Well, yeah, you can do that. It's okay. Not a problem. Another thing with regard to the medical is, so everybody keeps talking about, well, we need better pain relief, painkillers. I'm going to say this right now. Do not, can I say this again? Do not try to get hold of any of the morphines or anything like that. If they just happen to fall into your hands, shut up and don't say anything. But do not go out of your way. So, well, we got to go buy some. No. You're going to be dealing with drug dealers, or one way or another they'll interpret it as such. All you're doing is looking for another way to get into trouble. Okay? It's that simple. Down the road, we're in a shooting war. Who cares? But right now, the swine that make up the controlled media, the filth and excrement that are in the government that are working hand in hand with them, are going to lie every step of the way, no matter what it is you say. Oh, I was doing this for this reason. It won't make any difference. Trust me. Look at the lies you're hearing about that kid in Wisconsin right now. He took up a sniper position in the middle of the street. Yeah, right, with his head bashed in senseless, not senseless, and him sitting on his butt, kind of getting up from laying on his side and his back. Yeah, sniper position. You see what kind of lies we're talking about here? And it's the kosher crap, the kosher filth. This is the kind of BS they do constantly. This is not new. This is something we have to keep. Everybody gets to have their epiphany. I watched that video. It's nothing like that. Yeah, and when you try to tell the numbskulls, the idiots, and the incompetents, or those that want to gobble up that dog vomit, then they're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, how about we just watch the video? What? Well, we've got the video here. You tell me. Now, you heard what they said. Now watch this video, and you tell me if they were lying or not. Well, that's nothing like what they said. Yeah, that's right. In fact, one of the things CNN did, well, you're going to be able to shoot black people. Wow, well, you kind of missed his mark. Kid obviously has a color coordination problem, since every one of the characters was white, although two of them looked to be Jewish. Anybody pay attention to the names? Mr. Baum? Anybody pay attention to the names? Yeah. Heads up, people. Pay attention. But anyway, with regard to, again, operations in the future here, teams, coordination, if you're going to have a straw boss, somebody's going to become the straw boss. But you people are going to have to make a decision amongst yourself as to who that's going to be, because militias traditionally did that, okay? And some of these people, well, if they do fall short, it looks like you're going to need different management. So that's all there is to it. They're going to have to, correct their direction, make sure that they tweak themselves up and do right. But a lot of people, instead, when especially things get serious, one thing I will count on is that the ones that really look pretty and got all the neat gear, as soon as things get serious, like they're really getting serious now, you won't be able to find them. They're going to be gone. They're so far on the corner, they can't see the last two corners they passed while they were beating feet to the rear. Okay? So be ready for that. That's coming. Others will dig your heels in. And the people you're looking for are the people that are serious and understand full well the threat, and understand that, again, this is not a tailgate picnic / football game party. It's not a sports bar event. Another thing, yes, with regard to technology, and this has to do with something else that people weren't ready for. Did anybody watch them when they were trying to take the guy with a headshot wound to the hospital? Anybody notice how long it took while the cluster screw, I was going to say something else, the cluster screw of drama was taking place rather than getting the person into the vehicle, getting them moved down the road. Now, I will point out that while the little SUV is better than nothing, it wasn't even that, it's like a little hatchback car, you're better off throwing the casualty in the back of a pickup truck. Gives you a lot more access. You're not going to lose anything. Time is more important. Speed is more important than, let's just say short comfort. And with regard to the back of the pickup truck, the person will be comfortable enough if it's done right. But your evac vehicles should be either open-ended, open rear box vans or, like utility vans, small vans, or pickup trucks with or without cabs. The idea behind this is that it's an evac or a speed evac ambulance. That person died anyway, so between all the drama and nobody really knowing what they were doing and everybody pulling and screaming and thrashing and hollering in one direction or another, if seconds count, it took tens of minutes to get the job done. And seconds did count. So, well, again, it was a communist, I'm not worried. Plus, supposed to be a sex offender, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? Be aware, because they don't have a whole lot of confidence in reports made on background or whatever by people. Let's just put it this way. He was with the commies. He was with the, they were all the party people out there with a purpose to burn down the town. He got shot. It's a good thing. It's all done. He's peaceful now, by the way. Very peaceful. So, with regard to another thing that people forget about, we have discussed this extensively, is footwear. It's hot out. However, if it's a choice between being a little hot and having proper foot protection, I know steel-toe shoes and plastic cap or ballistic cap shoes are heavier than sin. A lot of people don't like them because typically the soles are also reinforced. You don't move around fast with them necessarily, although that's a matter of perception, how to walk, knowing how to move things. They are not a bad idea under these conditions. Treadheads, mechanized people, same situation. Why? Working with stuff that you drop heavy things, they hurt your toes. And any protection you can get there, especially when you're kicking things, bumping into things, whatever it is you're running into, it's not going to give. So what you need is a little bit of extra protection. Wouldn't hurt to invest in that, but at the very least, full combat boots in the field. Now, I know chukka boots are out there. I've got a bunch of them. And if that's what I just happen to have on at the moment, that's fine. But if in other words, during the event as it develops. But I'm very quickly going to switch over to a regular combat load and regular combat kit. And one of those things that needs to be on the list is a high boot. 8-inch, 10-inch, it's up to you, but a high boot designed to offer both protection and reinforcing to the ankle. Now, a lot of you guys are in the military. You ran in those boots. I did. We didn't run in tennis shoes. They have the guys running tennis shoes now. Now, with the technology of boots, with where boots have gone, there's absolutely no excuse for having a running shoe instead of having using a running combat boot. It makes no sense. Train as you will fight, so you will fight as you have trained. And try to make things more comfortable in a situation where you are working towards adapting the person's body and the physical structure to the technologies that they are going to be forced to carry or forced to use because it's the SOP, standard operating procedure for the unit, and it serves a purpose. They need to be working in the equipment that they will be fighting in whenever possible. Government, of course, is trying to keep their employees, which is one of the reasons that they use the track shoes, the running shoes, and all of that, because they want to keep their employees. It costs money to train soldiers. You got to keep the soldiers. You got to placate them, make them more comfortable. Well, some things you don't really want more comfort. Okay, well, they actually will be comfortable enough. You just need to remember that you're going to have to lift a little more weight, and that it's going to create a little different way that with regard to the way that your leg responds in motion along with your ankle. And you need to be working with it now without waiting and adapting at the last minute. Another thing here real quick is multiple pairs. Don't throw out any old boots or shoes. You can use them for tarring. You can use them for fatigue work. But, when the time comes, guys, we're going to be short shoes, boots, and everything so fast it's going to make your head swim. Most everybody's going to be grossly miscalculating this. You do not have too many of anything in that. You aren't going to have enough because where are you going to get it from? Governments and foreign powers are not going to send us stuff if we don't have money. And if our government's betraying us, they're also not going to want us to have anything other than what they can hand out as a doggy treat, which is what communist states do. It's what communist Russia did. It's what communist China did. It's what Korea did and does. All of them did and do. Okay? So this is why, again, packaging, storing, whatever you can do, socks don't have to match and especially when you're handing them out to people who don't have any. Let's think about that one. Oh, these socks. Okay, here you go. Well, it'll match. It's going to keep you warm, keep your feet from getting scuffed up inside the shoes. Oh, I think they match just fine. Most important thing is that you have them. And I'm not going to give my good stuff out to people I don't know. See how that works? I'm going to be issuing out the stuff that's second and third line to people who show up bare butt naked and, in fact, will tell you, well, I didn't think this was going to happen. Oh, I'm sure you didn't. Now, I have an ally show up. See, I have different ratings and materials. I have an ally show up who had to jump out of the shower, grab his carbine. He had two 15-round mags and a 30-round weapon. He's bare butt naked. He's running with his dangly parts, weed flapping in the breeze. He makes it to the tree line with a towel over, stuck near him or wrapped under his arm. He's got the rifle in hand. He had to fire a few rounds just to keep him busy. And then he makes it through the woods and he shows up bare butt naked with a towel around him. Maybe not with a towel. But either way, that person, I'm going to double A out. That person's going to get the best that I have because I know that person. Now, he just lost a bunch of his stuff. In theory, we got to go get rid of somebody so he can get his stuff back. At the very least, that person is now highly motivated because they've had their life's epiphany. They now know beyond a shadow of a doubt the bad guys are after them. Right? Makes a big difference, guys. Anyway, heads up on that. Remember, prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance, as we've said. The other thing here, again, underpants, T-shirts, there are some odds and ends items showing up over at Sportsman's Guide. The Dutch socks, I believe, are gone. They were the cheapest buy in the country. I looked everywhere. They were military. I got a few bundles of them. I should have bought more. They are gone, and I don't believe they'll restock those. But there are other socks, including some American wool blend, not wool socks, wool blend socks that are available over at Sportsman's Guide for about $1 a pair. It's the cheapest I've seen any socks. They're not wool socks. They're wool blend socks. But that's okay because, again, like we said, if you got lots of spares, when one gets too wet, you take it off, hang it over your gear, hang them up on your backpack there while you're traveling, put another pair on. Your feet continue to function. You can still work as infantry because those little pedal metals down there are doing what they're supposed to do right, and in a decent and intelligent way. Again, keep the feet dry. Trench foot is a reality, especially if you're living outside or you're going to be in the weather we're coming into. We're heading into fall, next to winter, then to spring. Those are the wet seasons. I mean, the really wet seasons. Michigan's damp as it is. But we really have some fun when we get the rest of that moisture falling down. So, again, be prepared for that. Oh, yeah, there's a sidebar. Hey, they're having hurricanes down in Louisiana. Hey! Wow, what a surprise. They're saying, well, these are the worst we've ever seen that they've ever had. I don't believe that's true because, again, remember, it's bad, but historically, guys, if they wait long enough, nobody will have a living memory of anything. I will remind you that the storm that hit from Louisiana all the way to western shore of Texas, that storm at its epicenter came right up through Galveston and turned Galveston into a pancake. There was not a single building standing. What year did that happen? Back in the early 1900s. I think 1904 is what rattles out of my brain, but they had another storm before that did the exact same thing in the 1880s. Galveston wasn't as big then. Here's the thing. It was the era of pictures. There are plenty of images of what happened. So remember when they do all this drama stuff, now the latest thing this morning is, oh yeah, they took people to shelters with coronavirus. Oh, we gotta protect them from coronavirus. Oh my God. So you've got the worst of Drama Queen 101 and 201. You've got Drama Queen, terror, doom, disaster with the hurricane. And you got the nanny state with the dog muzzles. Oh, God. You're better just going out in the middle of the swamp, wait until it all boils over, staying away from everybody and going back wherever you came from and picking up the mess. But don't go anywhere near where the idiot sticks in government are involved. Not even the locals now. Because I don't think they're any better than the turds that we have at the federal state level, which are as loony as the day is long. Crazy town, okay? And other than that, it is an interesting distraction, but there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, the other problem with what's going on there, I don't know that Louisiana would see the kind of assistance it had with Katrina so many years ago. I don't think it'd be possible. And in fact, they've done everything they can so that they might even do this as a field test, because remember, we got around FEMA and we got around MEMA and LEMA, Louisiana Emergency Management. We got around all of them and got stuff to the people. But now you've got the scam with the coronavirus as the police state tool to market people and tell them that they have no right to anything. Oh, my goodness. Or as Sulu would say, oh, my. Yeah, from Star Trek. Anyway, just something to think about there, right? Great chance to experiment again to see just how much of the FEMA police state they can plug in this time without anybody being allowed to say a word.
Mark.
Think about that one. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Mark, this is Fluffy. I just wanted to report here in Gulfport, we've been getting some speeder bands from the dying hurricane, but we're all right here. But over toward Lake Charles, they did have some damage. Lake Charles, Louisiana. But here at the nursing center at Driftwood, they've become real virus Nazis. They want us to stay in the rooms most of the time. They don't even want to let us go out and get any sun. They're trying to restrict the smokers from going outside, and they're getting some kickback on that. I've heard more. I think a couple of them yelling at the attendants / prison guards here. That's all.
So they're stopping the smokers from going outside. What's the wind like where you are?
Occasionally gusty. Right now it looks like it's pretty calm, just a little bit windy, nothing much.
Right. So the logic is stopping the smokers because of what? Their fear of spreading windy coronavirus, or the fear that they will be carried away by the Wizard of Oz?
Probably the windy version of the virus, no doubt. They've got a number of people that they've got isolated in their rooms, and it's just ridiculous. They got them, well, not quite literally locked up, but they're moving people around to probably foster confusion about it. I'm pretty much going down the hallway, no mask or anything. When they say, put your mask on, I wave and smile. Over.
Well, keep us apprised. If you haven't seen the Wicked Witch of the West flying by on a broomstick, I'm sorry, the East, right? Nobody going by the window.
No, not yet. Maybe a couple of little dogs, like whatever that dog was from the movie, but no witches. They walk the halls.
And otherwise, again, see, this is what I was curious about. Now, we got to be getting close. Hold on. Oh, we got a minute or two. We're good. Well, one of the interesting things, you've been getting at least the storm. You rest of the storm conditions, though, right? Rain, that stuff.
Intermittent bands.
Just now?
It'll come out hard and taper off pretty quick and clear up. And a while later, we get another band. That's the way it goes with these on the eastern side of a storm.
So the epicenter is more right down the New Orleans stretch? Right up the river, basically.
Yeah.
It's going up the river the way it always does. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which, again, we have seen before.
Yep, we're good here.
Well, I'll tell you, well, here's the question. How much longer do you think you're going to be in there where you are?
I'm working hard to get out of here. I hope I'll be out in another month. If I can work it, I will, because the virus Nazis are really offensive.
Well, I'll tell you what, real quick, before I forget, in your situation, can you get lemonade, lemon juice, real lemon juice?
I don't know. They have offered lemonade at times.
Well, here's an idea. Are you able to drink tea? Are they letting you have tea?
Yes, I call it weak tea, but
of course it will be. One tea bag will do 25 cups on a shift. Don't you know that?
Oh, no doubt.
However, typically they'll let you have sugar, and they usually will let you have lemon. Try to do that for the sake of getting hold of a lemon. That's why I was asking to get lemonade. But if you can get real lemon juice, or if they've got lemon slices that they will give you with a tea, take that and eat everyone. Get everyone you can. Eat the peel. Eat all of the lemon. Chew it all up, and consume it. If you get the juice, same thing. Go ahead, caller, jump in there. We're almost at the top.
Shelby from Oklahoma. If he's got family members that can at least drop off an item at Walmart or some of the grocery stores, there's a product called True Lemon. It's a crystallized lemon, and it's made from real lemons. It's a powdered lemon form, and it comes in little packets. Each packet is equal to one lemon wedge.
Yeah, that would be worth picking up. Did you hear that, Fluffy?
Hey.
Yes, indeed. I like the idea, and I will see if my friend can acquire it at our local supercenter.
Excellent.
Dad, we are right at the top of the hour. Sorry, I'll let you finish up.
It's okay. Well, for everybody out there, again, the reason I'm bringing it up is vitamin C is one of those things that is critical to beating back any of the viruses, any of these bugs. It is something that they already knew about. They made this big fanfare with this doctor up in Detroit, remember, who was doing vitamin C intravenous. Let me ask you all something. What happened to his case? What happened to him? They didn't charge him with anything. They just made a big propaganda mission out of trying to force you to avoid thinking about what works. So, especially with lemon. It doesn't mean all the other citrus are good. If you have a choice between an apple and oranges or grapefruit, get the oranges and grapefruit every time. And eat everything. And by the way, eat the peels. Slice them up into little pieces and nibble on them. Eat the peels. Seriously, guys, for all of you listening, there's as much vitamin C there as there is in the body and the juice that you're drinking. So all of it. Traditionally, when they were fighting scurvy and fighting other problems on ships, guys, they didn't let those, they didn't use, the whole thing got eaten. Of course, everything got eaten, no matter what the hell it was. But especially since it cost, time and space. Remember, it's harder than hell to store that stuff. So everything was used. Always remember that. And in this case,
okay, Dad,
Fluffy, in your case, we need to keep pushing. Go ahead.
We got to go, but I want to say thank you to American Son, who came into the Discord to let me know there was an audio problem with the YouTube stream. I'm going to work on it this hour, see if I can fix that up. But guys, you go pop into Discord. Like I said, you guys can yell at me in the YouTube chat all you want, but I'm hardly ever going to see that. I have so many windows open running the boards here, and I got 3 different monitors in front of me. If you pop into the Discord and you say something, or if you directly type the @ symbol and Libertytreeradio, that admin at the top, the one that you see there, but we're getting some other admins that are going to be added. We were having a discussion about that. That'll message me, and not just message me, but it'll also send a message directly to me so I can see your post, and I'll fix it if I can. Like I was discussing with American Son, we're limited on some of the technology that we do because we use so many free applications that are out there to make things work as cheaply as possible, as best as we can. But they don't always mesh well. And when we change up technologies, like today, Dad, you're not on your usual line, we have little hiccups that we got to overcome. And the feedback helps. Sometimes I may be short. That could be because I'm trying to fix a problem and I already know about it, or I'm dealing with another problem at the time. But I appreciate it, you guys. If you let me know there's a problem, I'll try to help you. Be specific if you can. Tell me what stream you're listening to, and I'll do my best to try to fix it. I may not succeed before the end of the hour, but I will try to fix it. All right. We're on our way out, Dad.
We are at the top, so I'll close out here. God bless the Republic.
Death to the New World Order.
Death to the New World Order.
Very good. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire's on the run.
And we are on the march day and night.
Day and night.
Kill them all.
Thank you, gentlemen. For everybody out there, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be back at 8 o'clock for the evening intel report. Liberty Bible Hour, I think, is coming up next. And again, for all of you out there, take the time, square your technology away. Plan things out, tactical deployments, especially in the field like this where you're seeing a quote-unquote protest. We need to get better at what you're doing. We need to tune things up, tighten it up, and then get the job done and get on home. God bless. Back in an hour. Bye-bye. Ed, take it over.